Guys, I tell you, every time I get to go to Genesis 1 and 2 and take guys there and look at God's original design for man, God's blueprint, it's inspiring to me to know that God had a design for man, that manhood, masculinity is God's idea, and that we're created in His image. That's just a powerful thought to think about.
Yeah, and God's busy creating and cultivating, and since we're created in His image, well, there you go. He designed us to create and cultivate.
And it really fulfills, it aligns with so much of the satisfaction we get in life as men anyway. We always wonder, why are we such doers? Why are we so action-oriented and builders? And part of that is just God is wired in our DNA as men to be about this whole issue of creating and cultivating. It's part of who we are.
Yeah, and for that to be His original design and for us to be in His image and for Him to, model that in the first chapter and mandate it in the second chapter, I think is just so helpful for me as a man to know, boy, I've got some tracks to run on.
It gives them some clarity. I mean, you're beginning to get some traction now. You're beginning to understand that the issues and the struggles, some of that is built in. Some of that is wired. And now to begin to move more toward the Jesus man, the man of Jesus Christ, the relationship and that model, you begin to see the shift that Jesus now comes to take us back to how we're originally designed.
Yeah, away from Adam.
Right.
And to follow Jesus. Right. But, one of the big points of your session was we can't do this ourselves. We can't fix ourselves. And so, the last thing we need is to give guys a list of rules and regulations. Religion is not what we need. I mean, religion is empty and hollow. We need to be connected to our Creator through a relationship with Christ.
Yeah, and I talk about that in terms of just a gospel masculinity, that the gospel changes everything, including our masculinity and what it means to be a man, and to know Christ and be in relationship with Him just redefines every piece of who we are as a man.
Right. It's the missing link. It isn't that. If a man tries to do it on his own, he'll never find it. No. But it's in Christ that he begins to experience and find the fulfillment and the direction he needs to move toward that. And that's really what this next session is really about as well, is that it's really about beginning to unpack what that definition
isn't
really
that
looks
exactly
like.
where you go to build our definition?
Yeah, we want to take the big mandate of create and cultivate, and now we want to break it down and really flesh it out. What does that mean? What does that definition of authentic manhood really look like?
It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's exciting.
In the last session, we looked at God's original design for mankind. From the original blueprints in Genesis, we learned that God designed men to follow His example and to lead, specifically by creating and cultivating. You see, we're created in His image. From the very beginning, God intended for us to be like Him, to create and to cultivate. But most importantly, we learned in the last session